This is a Warningham Green public meeting being held at the Warningham Rugby Club to discuss the proposed changes to Warningham Green as suggested by the Parish Council. And this is a meeting where Warningham are asked to air their views on the subject. As you can see, there are a hell of a lot of people here. I don't know how many. There must be maybe 300 or 400, I think, for this meeting.
Thank you very much indeed. Welcome to Warningham Rugby Football Club, who for us this evening at very low cost, so we thank them for that. I apologise that we don't have enough seats for everybody, but that's the nature of...
Cutting out, Jennifer. Louise.
It's a bit like a comedy show, I think. Anyway, I'm Louise, and I'm going to do my very best this evening to present for you what we're here to try to convey. There are a group of us that have been working quite hard on this, and we're here to try to put across in the best possible way what we have gleaned, and that's what we're here for. So, the overview. We're not here in any official capacity. We will do our best to tell you what we know about this scheme, and we're not here for any other reason.
Can you hold on, please? There's people waiting to come in. Can we spread round? Spread round.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could just try to make space for those who are coming in, but unfortunately those people who are trying to come in, it's nearly 7:10 and we must get on with the meeting. So if you could come in as quietly as you can, and if those people who are standing by the door could move along, a bit like moving along the bus, that would be lovely. Thank you. Okay, so we're not here for any other reason apart from to do our best to tell you what we know about this scheme. We're not experts. We're simply residents who have tried to collate what we can and to pass it on. Please bear with this presentation in the hope that it might answer some queries for you, and we will take questions from you at the end. Otherwise, we won't actually get through the presentation, and it could well answer your questions, and I hope it does. We've had a little bit of an IT breakdown. We were hoping to have a little bit more singing and dancing, but that's probably my fault. So that's a dress rehearsal is always in order, I would suggest, and we will do that if there's another meeting. So who are we? Well, we've dubbed ourselves the Warningham Home Guard. That was just a little bit of fun, and it was very topical at the time that this all came about. We're a group of residents who are concerned about the Warningham Parish plans for redevelopment of the Green. And in particular, two-way traffic causing a complete restructure of the area and impacting our lives and that of our trees. Why we formed. Initially, we were alerted at Blanchman's Field on the yearly fair presentation by the Wallingham Parish Council. That's when the presentation we were first aware of. We discussed things with our friends and neighbours and the shopkeepers, and we found that most people were actually unaware of the plan. Most of those that we did speak to had quite a strong reaction in a negative way to what was being proposed, and they kept asking why. So 5 of us then went and attended the July Parish Council meeting, where we were allowed 15 minutes to ask questions, and we all asked about the plan. We were there independently of one another. The answers were quite defensive. However, it was really the attitude towards us that was so condescending, it seemed inappropriate as we were there to simply ask the questions in the 15 minutes that we had. And also that the parish council were there to represent us. So it didn't feel quite right to us. We were then, therefore, prompted to take further action. We tried to get as much information as possible, and we spent more time talking to other residents. The information available was very hard to come by, and what we did glean became more disturbing. We formed a group and we began work. Now our aims went out on a letter on Facebook and on Street Life, and it's been posted in a few other places. And these are our aims, and they remain the focus of what we are here for. The first thing is to inform every resident and interested party who uses the Green about these plans and proposals. The second is to gauge and record your views and opinions. Now, one of the main reasons for that is because although we're a group of people and we're all getting together and we all share the same spaces and we enjoy the same things, and we're all saying, actually, why? What's going on? This is not for us. We need to be sure that before we go forwards with anything and before we put a lot of work in and start trying to get some answers to all of this, we are representing the majority. We need to know that, because it could be that we think, what a crazy idea, and the majority of you think, actually, that's a really good idea and we'd very much like something like that. And if that's the case, then that's fine. At the end of this meeting, we'll be able to say, well, we were in the minority. So that's why we need to do those first two things, to make sure that we are actually representative of the majority of people. Once we realise that we are, and we have your backing, we must stop the council from spending huge sums of money that could be spent on real improvements. And overall, we're all here to try and make the Green a better place for all. Those 4 aims remain our focal points, and that's it.
Talk any louder, please? Just people at the back who are asking if they can hear.
Queue's right outside.
Okay. Can we? Is there any way that we can move in any more for people? Yeah, that way. Yeah.
Turn that one up.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind, if you could just assist us. Are there any more people to come in from outside? Can we just squish in, please? Just do our best to squeeze up. We've just been asked whether we've done a risk assessment for the amount of people that are here this evening. And all I'd like to say, I mean, it's a valid question by somebody who's concerned. If anyone is concerned, right, okay. Right, so this remains our focal point. I apologise for anyone who hasn't heard the beginning. It's just a short introduction of who we are. We're not onto the main points yet, really. I think these aims are our main points. And how we go about that and is what we do next. And that is informing you about what's going on. So, the plans. Why do we draw our own plans? For some people who may not be aware, we drew our own plans up on this proposal. And the reason was because the parish council made it incredibly difficult for us to get the copies of their plans. We apologise for any inaccuracies in those plans. However, we had tried and we were not prepared to be hindered by what appeared to be stalling tactics. Those correct plans miraculously then became available in the library, although they weren't on full view. You had to ask for them, they were tucked behind the desk. Okay, so, change. Warlingham was changed from two-way traffic in 1948-49, but things were a little different before then. I think we had some horse and carts, we probably had some cars coming along then. But it was an incredibly different place at that time. So it was changed then. I have also heard that there was an attempt to change it maybe about 20 years ago, and I'm not sure if anyone else is aware of that. I don't know if that's official or true.
It was changed at the time Sainsbury's was built, the traffic order, changed the traffic order. Before then, actually, it was two-way traffic, some two-way traffic through Warlingham. And then Sainsbury's plan went through, the county councillor, Stephanie Ripley, and a couple of the then district councillors met to change the traffic orders.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Before we start, could a good lady identify herself?
Yeah, very well. My name is Glynis Whittle. I am the only district and parish councillor to attend this evening. And I've attended because I too share your concerns, and I'm very happy to answer any of the questions that you feel are not answered properly, because I perhaps know some of the background and some of the reasons. For 28 years, I've never seen two-way traffic.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. At this point, I'm just going to interject and say thank you very much for turning up this evening. However, the reason that the parish council, ladies and gentlemen, please, the reason that the parish council have not been invited officially to this meeting tonight is precisely because we have some information to impart to you. The information is to the best of our ability correct, or knowledge correct, and it is trying to inform people. As a result of this meeting, we will get together and arrange another meeting with the parish council, invited to that meeting, so that we can actually...
Only give her 15 minutes though.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. And also, can I also say at this point that what we definitely wanted to avoid, and what we do want to avoid this evening, is any them and us. We do not want this to turn into any big fight about anything. Passions will run high. We're all very concerned about it. It's where we live, it's where we work, and it's where we care about. So I understand that, and that's great, and it shows by the amount of people that have bothered to turn up on a horrid night just how people care about the environment that they live in. But we do not want it to turn into a shouting match, and I would ask you please to be respectful. Okay, so the suggestion to go back to two-way traffic means major works that are likely to take many months. It's been suggested 3 months from the plans that we understand. I think we can double it, probably treble it, because we know how workmen work.
Can I just ask, when do they intend these works to possibly start if they do get finished?
Madam, could I just ask you to please hang on to those questions just until the end? Thank you very much. Okay, they're likely to take many months. In the interim, shopkeepers need to survive, people need to get to school and work, and we all need to live in the area. The impact to our lives will be immense. Now, we are a progressive group and we welcome positive change on behalf of the community. And what we don't want people to think is that we're stuck in the mud and we don't want any change. That's not correct.
Can we sign a petition here this evening before we leave?
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we all understand English. Please, could you leave any questions? I know they're all positive, but can you just leave them till the end? Because otherwise it gets very disjointed for everyone listening, and I'm not the greatest show person in the world. So if you just bear with me, that would be great. Okay, the Warlingham Parish Council. In 2008, the village plan was introduced. It made reference to improvements and getting more people on the green. Perhaps that's been misinterpreted, I'm not sure. In 2011, a plan was hatched to do this by bringing in two-way traffic and pedestrianising on one side of the green. Consultation relating to the plan has been via the annual fair and the WPC AGM, which was held in May this year, and also via the notice board on the Parish Council Green. Sorry, on the Parish Council board on the green. Architects were then enlisted and are still revising plans. However, to date, over £15,000 has been spent on this proposal. Plans were made difficult to access for those who had requested them. At the AGM in May 2014 was well attended, and a large opposition to the plan was voiced at that point. The Parish Council continued and are continuing to spend money on revising plans. We asked about full consultation with residents, and the Parish Council continue to say that it's going to happen. We'd like to know at some point when, we have asked them, and how, but they won't say at the moment. They have suggested that perhaps February, the end of February. The idea, well, the proposal was to implement a concept called shared space, where cars, pedestrians and cyclists all share the surrounding areas without being told what to do by directional signs. It's sort of the polite way of moving around, if you like. Now, shared space has been tried around the world. It's a very liberal concept, just to let you know. It's a liberal concept. It's about not being told what to do, but sort of by the shape of the environment and the fact that you care very much about your neighbours and their views and opinions and thoughts, but you allow them to go first and that you take your turn and those sorts of things. Now, our view, if it were to work, it's lovely. It really is a nice scheme if you're in that right environment where that will work. Our view is that we already do this, although we could improve it. The way that we work the green, we could improve. But with the vast numbers who flow through, not all with time, patience and good manners, the concept is actually flawed here in Warlingham. Okay. Now I need to The IT breakdown meant that we were supposed to have 2 screens going, so you're just going to have to bear with me whilst I read these things out. Now, this is the current plan as far as we know. The bits in pink, the parts in pink, are pedestrian areas. However, this is also the parking area. I know. It's odd. Parking bays will be angled, and there will be seven bays on this scheme outside the co-op area, 7 outside the chemist, with a possibility of 2 disabled spaces. Access to this area will be from both ends, and there will be bollards here in the middle.
Boy Racer's Paradise.
With access here to the co-op lorry coming in and out. So the bollards are placed strategically so that the lorry can get in and out. Ken's Autos will stay on the pedestrianised side. And we're unsure as why it's not coloured in. I think it should be about here. We're unsure as to why that's not coloured in or sort of represented. We don't know that. And the dangers for this particular side of the green are that if you call it a pedestrian area and you make it look pedestrianised and people feel safe there, yet cars are coming in and out all over the place, and in fact it isn't safe. Also, I don't know if sat and watched Ken's Autos for more than 10 minutes, but the amounts of vehicles and the way that they're driven in and out is brings concern. Okay, on the other side, on the church side, this side, Church Hall side, it shows on the plans 2 traffic, but also with the pavement and the parking bays remaining the same. So we'll have parking and 2-way traffic. Just to let you know, the other gem on that one is that just here, opposite Flavours, this little orange part here, is a bus stop. Now we've tried to get responses from TfL about the 403 bus, and we've given up trying at. Now if we're going to go forward, we will make sure that we make contact with them. But with the time that we had available, the amounts of messages that we tried to send, we had to call it a day on that one. We didn't get a response. And we did get one from Metro Bus 409, the 409, which I'm afraid I don't have in front of me for you because it's on the other presentation, on the other screen. But I will dig that out and I'll make sure that that goes on the report that comes after this for you. It was a very short one, and basically they weren't that impressed with the whole idea. That's all I can tell you at this stage because I apologise, I don't have it in front of me. The pavements on this side will have to work on minimum allowances for people in order to get this in. And I have no idea how they're going to cross over from the bus stop area because on the original plans there was a zebra crossing, but we'll come to that in a moment. The dangers there are crossing from the bus stop. That's a danger that's additional. On the newsagent side, this side, we have 2-way traffic with the pavement staying the same width. All the parking bays will go. The junction with the leather bottle, which is shown here, which isn't the leather bottle anymore, it's the tapas bar, that junction here that comes along from Limpsfield Road wouldn't look like this on the plan. It couldn't look like that. So that's where we would have to envisage that land would be taken from the green and also trees. Lorries wouldn't be able to turn otherwise. There's just no way that even cars would struggle to get two-way traffic round there. There was talk of a roundabout, I believe, and now there's talk of traffic lights, but again, that may be enough. That may be in the next slide. Now, one of the key dangers on that side of the road here is that currently, even on a narrow pavement, which is incredibly busy, the pedestrians are protected by parked cars. And if we have two-way traffic with buses and lorries coming along there, even their mirrors overhanging will be possibly disastrous for somebody. Okay, on the actual green, well, or the actual green, there's no ability now to go around the green. So if you go in here and look for a parking space and you can't find one and you come out, you have to go all the way around the green to go into that side to look for a parking space thing again. You can't go around the green at all. It does restrict us, it restricts the shopkeepers very much. Two-way traffic makes being on the green, which will be reduced in its size if this were to go ahead, makes being on the green quite unpleasant, but getting there possibly catastrophic. And also the amount of parking here, currently there are 29 parking spaces, and that will be reduced to 27. Trees, very, very important for many people here, are our trees. Part of the proposal was to, the original proposal was to cut trees to make the green lighter and drier. So it was about lightening the environment and bringing the green to, but it was one of the improvements apparently that was actually asked for, I believe, in the consultation in 2011, I think that came out.
Chop them down, it'll get more water on.
That's what we have. Trees actually aid the drying process. Just one moment. The trees aid the drying process, not the opposite. They've been there since 1887, and their roots also will reach far under the green, and any upheaval of one or other tree could then end up killing other trees there. There is currently no preservation order on any trees on the green, and there is no ability to gain preservation orders on the green whilst this proposal is in place. At this moment in time, there are 30 trees. That's how many we have. The plans on here, which I think they're the circles, show 18. So we have to ask the question, does that mean 12 will go?
We was assured it was only 2 trees coming down when we went to the meeting earlier.
Okay, so moving on and bringing into play one of the councillors who, two of us went to the meeting. It wasn't me actually, but two of us went to the meeting, the Parish Council meeting, and Councillor Morrow actually said he rejected the shed space idea, yet the meeting I went to, it was put forward as the biggest thing. So he rejected that and as a concept for the green, and he also stated no trees will go. That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you why he said that, or all I can say is that was what Councillor Morrow said. No trees will go at all.
Councillor Morrow also turned around and said to us that if the general public didn't want it, it wasn't going to happen.
Yes. Yes. That's why we're
So
one.
we're all here, so...
Indeed. Right. Crossings. There are no more zebra crossings on on this current plan. On the original plans, there were 2 added, one outside the Tandoori, Wallingham Tandoori, and one outside Coughlin. So that was the original plan. This plan now is that there are no extra zebra crossings there, which, that's us maybe. But the latest one, traffic lights here, I think. Oh, hang on. Sorry. I've moved on. Traffic lights are a roundabout. Okay, traffic lights are a roundabout. Must have to go in here in order to make this scheme work. The latest one does show traffic lights. That's outside the tapas bar. Either way, it looks like we will lose a proportion of the green and the trees, and also congestion will increase. Just want to say a little bit about repairs and upgrades. The crossings, pavements and road surface maintenance are the responsibility of Surrey County Council as far as we're aware. The car park signage and lighting is the responsibility of the Tandridge District Council as far as we are aware. All the repairs that we need for day-to-day ease and safety we understand are on hold but while this plan is being floated. Because those repairs are actually paid for from our taxes and from funding from those 2 councils. It's not an extra fund. So therefore, the £15,000 that's currently been spent would therefore be used for carpets and curtains, really, as Ian said. It would be for all the niceties that we might want on the green, because they wouldn't be used for the day-to-day maintenance. So, Wallingham Home Guard, actions to date. What have we done? We've created awareness via social media and other outlets, and thank you very much for all coming as a result of that. We've involved the press and local advertisers. We've involved County Board of News, Caterham Independent, CR6 and Surrey Mirror. Some have already written articles. We've had 2 articles in the County Board of News, and 2 are wanting to do articles after this because CR6, the publication, goes out, I think, in December. So some are waiting for information now from us in order to place those. We set a public meeting date. Here we are today. We wrote to Surrey County Council and received a reply, and we wrote to Wallingham Parish Council and received a reply. And if you'll just bear with me, I'll do my best to précis this and let you know what it says. Okay. Wallingham Green proposed 2-way working. This was our letter to Surrey County Council. We have just visited Wallingham Community Library to view the deposited plans for alterations to Wallingham Green. While there will be some environmental benefits to the proposals, these seem to be outweighed by the negative aspect, some of which will prove controversial. For example, the Parish Council's consultants proposed to remove 12 of the 30 lime trees surrounding the green. These were planted in 1887. The aim in removing them being to improve vistas towards the War Memorial and to reduce summer shade from overhanging trees. The proposals shown on the attached plan also include closing one of the roads forming a triangular green and introducing 2-way operation on the remaining 2 arms. One of these roads would have a carriageway of 7.1 metres and an adjacent footpath width of only 1.8 metres, which is very undesirable. The existing parking and loading for the shops along the side of the green would also be removed. Where the 2 remaining arms of the green meet, a traffic signal junction is proposed in place of the earlier mini roundabout suggestion. The consultants plans to liaise with your Highways Department on the design of this feature. A traffic signal junction at the location would cause major disruption to traffic and unacceptable delays to local bus services, as we assure your traffic engineers will confirm in due course. Many of the proposed changes would be the responsibility of the county council to implement or assess. For example, highways alterations, traffic orders, road safety audit, amendments to a registered village green, cost of works, environmental issues. While the parish council is to be commended in its efforts to improve the village centre, there is now a need for Surrey County Council, who are ultimately responsible for most of the alterations being proposed as itemised above, to become actively involved. Not only will this involve them advising and guiding the parish council and their consultants in devising improvements to Wallingham Green, but will avoid further wasteful expenditure on impractical measures. Sorry, I'm running out of steam. More importantly, to assist in the development of worthwhile improvements to the village centre that will enhance its appearance, safeguard its future, protect its history, and command widespread local support. So that is what we sent to Surrey County Council, and it just goes over again those plans that I've just talked through with you. The response was, thank you for your letter dated the 1st of November. County Council are aware of the work that the consultant is carrying out on behalf of Wallingham Parish Council. However, at this stage, Surrey Highways has not been approached formally regarding a final proposal for the Green. You rightly point out many of the issues that are the responsibility of the County Council. Whatever proposal is eventually presented for our consideration, we will want to see the proposals comply with current legislation and good practice guidance. We will also require traffic modelling to be carried out to show the impact of changes on traffic flows. I understand the Parish Council are doing that now. We will work closely with the parish and the divisional member for Wallingham, Mr David Hodge, to ensure that any scheme that's put forward is acceptable in traffic and safety terms, whilst providing the benefits being sought for the local community. I hope this information has been useful to you. So that's what we did. We wrote to Surrey County Council, and that was the reply. Then we wrote to Wallingham Parish Council. We'll bring that up in a moment. So we got together, we found out what needed to happen, started trying to do it, and this is where we are. We will bring up that quite interesting. We only received the reply this morning, but that was partly due to me, because I only sent it officially, I think, last week. And the reason for that is we got caught up in some sort of social media asking questions, and I was asking questions of someone who wasn't actually on the parish council. So that's my error, but it was the way that they were putting themselves across. I thought that they were the parish council. Anyway, bad. Okay, so we wrote to the parish council, and what I'll do is I'll say all the questions that we asked, and I'll read their responses to it so that it flows better. How much has been spent on the project? £15,208.12 in the period 2011 to date is the answer. How much will the proposals cost to implement? The answer, until the parish council has a plan that it is prepared to recommend to residents, we cannot have it properly costed. The consultant's plans show fewer trees around the green, and the text indicates that 12 trees would actually be removed. Does the parish council support this proposal? And if it does not, how does it propose to introduce two-way traffic within the existing highway boundaries and therefore without removing the trees? And the answer, the consultant's proposals are to remove some of the existing trees and to plant others. The parish council has not stated support for any scheme yet, let alone removal of well-loved trees. It is merely collecting information. The consultant was asked to give us his advice as to what would best solve the problems of the green, as previously perceived by residents. The consultant's suggestion of changes to the tree layout is not predicted predicated solely on fitting in two-way traffic. Please refer to page 6 of the Urban Design Study to interim report. That's where they wanted lighter, brighter and drying of the green. That's where that came from.
What are the problems highlighted by Warlingham residents? Because for myself, I think it works quite well.
Could we... I appreciate that they're all valid questions, but could we just...
Started saying why, so why do they want to change it? That's what you have to address that.
The traffic assessment and road safety audit, as requested by Surrey County Council, will better inform us all.
No, but that's not the answer to that question. You want to know
Sorry,
why.
you've spoken twice already, Mrs. Whittle. I think that's enough. You've spoken twice already. I'm trying to speak more than me or anybody else at this meeting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Sir, please. You'll have the as everybody else at the end or via all media are ongoing for this. The south side of the green by the Co-op store is shown as a shared space and closed to through traffic by bollards. Have the various bus operators agreed to their services being diverted and a new bus stop being sited on the opposite side of the green? The answer: the bus operators will be consulted when we have a proposal. Not long now. Road safety audit. The number of personal injury accidents around the green is currently minimal. The proposed two-way working will increase the number of conflict points caused by turning traffic. The narrowed footways and carriageway width, coupled with the need for pedestrians to cross two-way roads rather than one-way, all add to the risk of accidents. Does the Parish Council accept that its councillors, together with Surrey County Councillors' Highway Authority, would be open to claims of negligence and compensation from injured parties if such proposals were implemented? And the answer is the traffic assessment and road safety audit will better inform us. When we have a proposal in place, the county, as Highways Authority, will need to satisfy itself before granting consent. Number 6. We understand that you're currently consulting with the County Council on proposed traffic signals and arranging a traffic impact assessment. When do you expect to be able to start public consultation? The answer: we have notified the consultant of all the concerns and ideas raised by the residents following earlier public discussion of the draft plans. And if your meeting identifies issues that have not been already identified, we will then add these to the list of matters to be addressed. On present forecasts, we expect to be in a position to hold a meeting by the end of February 2015. Question: how will you consult? Answer: please refer to the attached statement recently released by the Parish Council. Oh, I'm sorry. The Parish Council would be pleased if you would share this response and the attached statement with attendees at your forthcoming public meeting. So they were very much, they worked hard, I guess, to get that response to me ahead of this meeting so that we could share those responses with you. There is the press release that was put out is what they're referring to in terms of how they will consult. And I'm not sure if everyone's seen that, but it is. Where is that available? Do you know? Oh, that's fine. We'll make sure that we post that again and that it's readily available for you. Right. Warlingham Home Guard actions ongoing. Well, they are to be determined as part of this meeting and in relation to feedback that we've received from you all. That feedback is, we're going to be looking at some of that in a moment. We've cut that all right down. But it's, as we said right at the beginning, we need to know that we're working on your behalf, and then we'll make a plan. From our knowledge to date, the majority are opposed, and we must stop this proposal. That's how we feel. We will... Thank you. And we will make more of a plan on how we proceed after this meeting. Just to go over those aims again, and they are incredibly important to us so that we don't get caught up in tittle-tattle and in them and us things. These are our aims. To inform every resident and interested party green. That's what this is about. To gauge and record your views and opinions, we've got sheets out asking for you to fill those in this evening for us, and to contact us in all the ways. We've got a phone number for you to ring and speak to somebody, a warm body at the other end. We've got books in Dales and the chip shop and Flavours for you to go in and write your responses. We have social media, but not everyone's on that. Hence, we've got email. And as a result of this meeting, if we feel that we need to, we will create a website and we will post everything that we know onto that website so that everyone can go to it, and it's all in one place and it's very easily accessible for you all. We have nothing to hide here. We're just doing our best. That's all we're doing. And as a result of that, we need to stop the council from spending huge sums of money that could be spent on real improvements. They've heard the negative responses and yet still haven't consulted and still are spending money. And that is a concern. Why are they not listening? Why? And we need to then help make the Green a better place for all, and we've got lots of suggestions on improvements, which are great. Right, so the main objections from everything that we've collected so far from people who have inputted. The loss of the village atmosphere feel. People are very concerned about that. The tree, obviously, the trees. Everyone okay? Okay. Okay. Do we need to send anyone? Thank you. The trees, obviously, that goes without saying. Everyone's very concerned about the trees, and there were lots and lots of comments in Dale's book about trees in particular. The damage to the local business could be catastrophic to our local business, especially whilst plans are being undertaken. It's difficult enough as it is, yet we may be without people being able to pass and park at the local shops for 3, 6 months or more, and even then, when it's changed, how much better will that get for them? I don't know anyone who can survive 3 to 6 months without the regular trade. Disruption while the changes are made. Well, I've just mentioned that. The alternative routes, that was a main objection. What's going to happen not only whilst this is going on, but afterwards? We can see with the traffic lights that are in place at the moment just how that's starting to impact the back routes. So, you know, what then happens for those residents? Safety, again, that goes without saying. That's a big one on the list. This is not in an order, by the way. These are just the main concerns for people. The complete and utter waste of money perceived by people on this scheme, that most people, when they hear about it, immediately everything, if you live on the Green, work on the Green, or spend a moment passing through the Green on a regular basis, it makes no sense. It just makes no sense. So the complete and utter waste of money on £15,000 to date on something that is really clear to the majority of people won't work. And the consultation, people are very upset about the fact that they haven't been consulted properly, or they perceive not to have been consulted properly, and in my view they haven't, because in a short space of time we've been able to get this going, and we're not in any official capacity, as we keep getting told. proposal for improvements. So the top ones, moving on to something a little more positive about what people would like to see on the green and what they would like their money spent on. Apart from the general maintenance stuff, because the flooding issues and all of those things are already being taken care of by Surrey County Council, but these are the ones that people would like. And that is safer crossing, improved lighting on the crossings and around the green, the flooding aspect, that little pool of water that always comes about, the pavements, the cracks in the pavements and unevenness of them, parking, both providing more parking in the car park and making the car park a nicer environment, a lighter environment and a much more useful environment for us here on the green, and parking, the restriction and enforcement of parking, in particular those traders who are on the green who park their cars there all day, which is an issue for a lot of people. And I don't think any of those particular traders are here this evening. And also this is one that a lot of people, they haven't written down in the book, but a lot of people do speak about and I hear about a lot. And that's tidying up the drug issues that are around the place that you may or may not be aware of and you may or may not see. It depends which area you go on. If you go around Mint Walk and if you go across the parks, you will see that happening quite a lot around there. So, in summary, our green is a unique place. It's intrinsic to the community on different levels and it's shared and enjoyed by all. We all have a view on what improvements are, and these should be heard and they should be taken into account. By coming together in a structured way like today, we can protect and enhance both the green as a space and the lifestyle and enjoyment for all. And that is what we're about here, and I hope that that's what all of you are about. Even if we don't all share exactly the same view, I hope that is what we're all looking at, is that last one. Thank you very much. I'm usually a little bit more sparkly, but I've got lots of reading, and as I say, I'm not an expert on this particular thing, so I'm sorry it's a bit stilted, but the main thing is that we're here, you're here, and we've got some sort of communication now going, and from here we can go forwards, and as I say, just get this stopped. Get it stopped, stop the spending of the money, let's all then get together and let's turn our attentions to a very positive viewpoint, and that is, how are we going to make the green a better place, and let's release Surrey County Council and Tandridge District Council in order that they can do all of those repairs that we're already paying for, and we're all on hold. And the other thing is, maybe we want to slap a few preservation orders on our trees when this goes, just to make sure. Yes, sir.
How do we get rid of them?
Thank you very much. I think that really we've probably imparted, I will come back to you, sir. I think we've imparted what we know as best we can with our, Ian has good skills, I don't have necessarily the good skills, but collectively we've done our best to get that across to you. And I think what we do need to do is provide all of the information that we have in one space, so we'll work on doing that and try and let you know where, when, how that's going to happen, but it will be very soon. We have another meeting on the 4th. The next parish council meeting is on the 3rd of December. You guys have 15 minutes to ask questions. Yeah. You have to talk very quickly. You have to talk very quickly if you want to all go. But by all means, turn up, show them how you feel. if there's a queue out of the door and everyone's saying the same thing, then perhaps they might listen. I can't say, and I don't know why they're not. I'm sorry, yes. So the parish council meeting is in the library on the green on the 3rd of December at 7:30. 7:30, 3rd of December. Ladies and gentlemen, also if you feel like you would want to perhaps. If you feel like you would want to show your views in letter form, by all means send them to us, Wallingham Home Guard. We have our own email address, and we will have our own website. I'm pretty sure that we'll get that up and running in the next few days, certainly in the next week. And we'll try and place as much information on that for you to refer to. You can have these dialogues with us because we do have lots and lots of ways that you can contact us. So you can send things through us and we'll pass it on for you, or write directly to the parish council. But it's very good if we have a central point of collating this, because if one person sends and another person sends from over there and we're not collating it, we're not getting that real sort of tsunami type style thing going on, which I think we may need to have.
Can we ask your name, please?
Yes, my name's Louise Keith. Louise Keith. Or Captain Mannering. For that.
How many people are going to do that? All individually right. Just do it as one lot of work. All of you individually right.
Thank you.
A lot of work. And if you listen to me, you will find that actually I share a huge amount of your
But are you for it or against it?
I'm not
Personally, no. Answer. No, you're not. Okay.
One of the reasons I do it.
Okay, can we have this in a structured way again? So thank you very much for saying that, Glynis. And I just want to make sure that I made myself understood, because I didn't mean, send me something or just send a group letter in. What I meant was make sure that you record and send me a copy if you're going to send it directly, so that we can collate it all and we can make sure that when we speak with force, but each person is also representing themselves as well as we are representing them. So my apologies if I didn't make myself clear on that, but thank you very much for that. Right, so I think now it's questions, if that's okay. Now, we're going to have to do this in a structured way, and please don't talk for too long, okay? But because I don't want to have to interrupt you. So, sir. I believe the elections are every 4 years. I'm sorry, Glenn? May 2016. Now, whilst I want it to be a them and us thing, I think once we begin this and we collate all of this and we know that you're all on the same side, we're all on the same side, I think we need to perhaps look at what happens with the parish council after that. So I think this is an ongoing process. This isn't the end here, this meeting. It's possibly the beginning. I hope it doesn't hang around too long, because we don't want this going on and on. But actually, maybe we can collate everyone and get it going on and on and on for a positive purpose. That would be good. Yes, sir, you were next.
You started the meeting off saying that... That's the details they want. That's the details they wanted to fill in, which I've done for me. Can you hand mine in for me?
Yeah, good, very good point. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, could we have a show of hands if people want to make themselves known, of who is in favour of two-way traffic? Okay. Okay, and this is Vanessa. Is it Vanessa? This is Vanessa, who is doing a project or a dissertation and wanted to be involved in this and interview us, etc., etc. And we're very happy to do that. And Vanessa was out of 186 189 comments in the comments books that we left in those 3 places on the green. 1 was positive. Everyone else was totally against it, vehemently against it. And Vanessa was the positive one, I believe. Yeah, please do.
I don't know if anyone knows, but there will be a vote next year about it. Can you stand up?
No, there's not, sorry, that's not, sorry, not up for election next year, it's the year after.
I was told by David Cooley on the parish council that there will be a vote next year, and by what it looks like, yeah, a vote for if you want this, and by what it looks like, it won't go ahead. What you want. So I'm Brina. I personally would like to see change because I don't think there's many people my age here. Yeah, I'm 19 and I have lived here my whole life.
Don't pay the bills either.
Okay. Sorry. I just think that I am really young compared to everyone here, but everything changes, and change might be good for somewhere that's been the same for a very long time. Our generation might be here. No, everyone moves on and moves to different places. I'm at university myself, but I drive. Yeah, I drive around the green very often. My point is, maybe the plans aren't exactly ideal, but I do think we should have change. It would be better for social events if it's more open and people aren't teaming off into the streets. But I know that pretty much everyone here is against it. I just thought I'd put my view across.
Thank you very much. And I think it is important that when if one person in a crowd of people like that at 19 years old is prepared to stand up and say in a polite way what their views are, we have to listen to that. We may not agree with it, but I think it's really important that we listen to that. So thank you very much. And experience is a great thing, and maybe in 10 years' time, Vanessa will see why we're so against it, and maybe not. Okay, but thank you. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's an incredibly good point. Yes, definitely.
It strikes me there is something of a lack of transparency here on their part. And that's just the power we have to get it out. Because they can't say no unless they find some reasonably legal way out. But, I mean, there's only one path. We'll probably just hand it over. If we use those powers and we all go home tonight, send freedom of information out, just email them. That will show the feeling in this room.
Good, and that's what we want, because there are lots of people with lots of information and lots of knowledge that we don't have, and as a unit, and when we pull that out, we can bond together, we can make it very easy for all of us to be able to do that. So thank you very much, sir. And what we'll do is we will get a template and we will put it on that website so that you can download it. Who's next? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My name's Trevor Fielder. I'm a Wallingham resident and I've lived here for 17 years. First comment for the young lady who's in favour of change. Change for its own sake is not necessarily good. My question initially is, this didn't come out of the ground suddenly screaming and yelling at it. Why has it arisen? What is the argument for making these changes? You did say at the beginning you would address the question of why. But you've not done so. Would you please? If you have the answer, then I'd like
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Why it's
In 2008, their resident, the parish council and the resident, there was quite a group of residents. Now, I don't know how they came about because I was not on the parish council at the time. I have been on the district council for 14 years, but I was not on the parish council. it came about that in 2008 they decided, that these group of residents, that they would produce a parish plan. They did consultation. Now, I understand that something went through everybody's letterbox. Actually, I didn't get one through my door. I'm a district councillor. I think I would have remembered it, but there we go. I didn't get one. So maybe some did, some didn't. From that, they got lots of ideas. They consulted at the Wallingham Fair at different times and came up with an idea. And a lot of people said they wanted to see change on the grid. There were lots of ideas, and so the parish council collated this information and decided that they would then get an architect to draw up a plan for the village to change the village green with lots of things that people said they wanted. Now, in 2011, they got this chap to do this, and it's been ongoing since then. Yes, they have spent £15,000. Let me tell you, I went back on the parish council 3 years ago because when I saw how much money was in reserves in the parish council, I was very concerned.
How much is there?
Can I ask how much there is, please?
I think there was about 18,000 at the time.
No, there's not much left of that then. Thank you. Have you answered? Have we answered the point?
Let me tell you, over my dead body will they remove trees. I am very much. I actually have stopped them spending any more money other than on the traffic survey.
Okay, I'm going to thank you very much for that. So I think that the answer is that there was that document produced by a consultation. How large that is, we have no idea, and it appears that it may be misinterpreted, but they won't know because they haven't asked us. I think that's why, that's the reason why. Madam, you've been very patient. Thank you very much indeed.
Can I just ask, who benefits from the sale of the car park behind North Aquarium when this parking situation possibly or does not go ahead?
Can't sell them.
Why not?
It belongs to the diocese of Southwark. I'm sorry.
The 15,000 that's in
The car park doesn't belong to it. It belongs to the diocese of Southwark.
I'm quite aware that this car park belongs to the but one of all resources and highlight the fact that this car park, there is one particularly did decide to highlight
Madam, could I just ask, is there an actual question? Okay. The answer to that is a very good question. And if we have these little sheets, no, please, Glynis, that's it now. That's enough now. Okay, but thank you, because I want to get to hear some other people as well, if we can. No, we're going to get the real answers after this meeting. Okay, that's not what this meeting's for. So, madam, hello. There's no need to be. So, what we can do is, if you can ask that question on your sheet of paper, and we'll get that. It is valid. It is valid. It is valid, and what we'll do is we'll take that question and we'll get a proper answer as far as we can from that. But please leave that question, get it to us, and we'll find out for you, okay?
Louise, can you pray see the question, please, because the people at the back can't hear the question.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. The question was, who stands to benefit from the sale of the car park behind the aquarium when all this comes about? Who will benefit? And the answer is, we don't know. We will find out though. Who's next? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Yeah, that's a good question as well. In the 2008 survey, the concerns that were put forward by the consultation, whatever that was, and we don't know how many people were consulted and responded, But there were some things highlighted, concerns about parking in the main, I believe. It was a very big one. And this proposal was drawn up, we looked at that, and this proposal was drawn up in order that, it was supposed to address some of those. Ultimately, it doesn't appear to us that it's addressing any of it, and in fact it's making it an awful lot worse. And if the scheme comes up that really won't work and makes it worse, then it's not addressing any of the issues, and I think that's where we're at. But again, on the website, we will post. It is all on the parish website, by the way. You can go and have a look at that tonight when you get home, if you like. But what we will do is we will collate all this information in a very easy to read way on our website, so that you can go and you can draw your own conclusions from things. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, that's a very good point. There is something on mine, Jennifer. Anyone else? Madam.
I just wanted to respond to the young lady. Well done for standing up. I've been a resident in Wallingham for 25 years, just slightly older than you when I moved here. For me, being a resident of Wallingham, I feel privileged to live in a village with such a community feel. Sorry. I feel privileged to live in Wallingham with such a community feel where everyone cares about each other. On the green with the Memorial Remembrance Sunday, turning on the lights, the May Queen. We're very, very lucky to have that still in our village as a big tradition. If we have two-way traffic around that green, we will lose that, all those village events for our children, our grandchildren, for the history of Wallingham, because at the moment the green on any of those events is overflowing. People are on the roads for Remembrance Sunday, they fill up the pavements, the same for Christmas lights last week. You can't move. If we have two-way traffic in Wallingham, our village will be lost forever.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a point well made, and I think that's how many of us feel. Yes, madam.
If we've only got £18,000 in the parish account, who's going to pay for this?
Apparently, the funding doesn't come from Wallingham Parish Council, and where that funding comes from, well, that's probably a good question that we need to try and find out. Oh, Glynis, can you tell us quickly, please?
Levied on developers when they develop in Wallingham and around surrounding areas, they get a levy put on them. That money is then to be used on infrastructure and only infrastructure. And infrastructure is like changing the years, so that's where the money is.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can I just
Sir.
I brought up a point at the last meeting that nobody has addressed it tonight. If they do go ahead with two-way traffic, they make arrangements for the buses to go in and out. Not once have they made, as we get problems even now, the road being as it is now, for delivery vans. The delivery vans will come in and they will block the traffic as they do now, but now you can go around it.
Thank you. That is a very good point, and I know that it's one of the biggest concerns of the traders, apart from their trade. That is one of the biggest concerns. So, ladies and gentlemen, the question is: have we had any feedback from the co-op? Okay, because the co-op lorry delivers, and therefore that's what causes the traffic. Okay, So that we haven't had any feedback from. It's very difficult to get feedback from a larger corporation. That's much more difficult. A larger business, whereas we can get the independent traders. But it is something that we will pursue in due course. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of having to wait a moment or two. It's terrible if the green is snarled up all day long or for an hour or so, but in general, letting people reverse the lorry in, I think, is possibly okay, and maybe we just need to be a bit more patient. And that's just me chucking it out there. Sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please could you listen.
So if you're going to take more, take another line there, what's next? There'll be shops or pedestrians.
Yeah, that's a good point. I remember that happening as well. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That point, sir, was one that I was trying to make. The youngsters get down there and they do smoke and I believe sell drugs as well, and also they trash the place. Yeah. So there are some things that we would like to address there. Yes, madam.
I think we've communicated on the various media, so well done for getting the meeting together. But my aim has been, like yours, to get the information out of the parish council. And I was there at the last meeting, and it was after that, fortunately, that they did put the information up. My question is this: I've got this plan, which I've been annotating with my thoughts, but it's rather different from the one that you've got, because it's got the zebra crossings and things like that.
Exactly.
Is that a more up-to-date one? Because I want to be dealing with, if I'm going to make comments, I want to make them on the facts, absolutely what the situation
Our
is.
understanding is that this is the current one, but this one is now in for revision, is my understanding.
Where did you get that from?
Media.
That's the plan that Jeremy Purcell put up on Facebook, and I questioned him, and he said nothing will come of it. And he argued the toss for nearly 2 hours last Sunday night.
Okay, I'm sorry. May I just answer your question? This one is the latest one. It's the latest plan, and we've received it from the consultants. So I'm sure that we have this, and we can send it to you. But
What date is on that? Because this is the 6th or the 8th of May. And it's the official one on the website.
I believe we received this in November, early November or late October.
Can I just say that?
Did you make it available to us all?
Yes, most certainly. Yes, of course. Yes. If you want to send me an email, I'll try and. I'm in London tomorrow, but I'll try and get that off to you tomorrow independently. But again, I think this is why we need a central point where we put everything up to date that we know, and we'll take off what is now not current and add the new ones.
The parish council meeting on the 3rd of December in order to ask them if they can put up that on their website. It's really important that everybody.
Of course it is, and certainly a few of us will, and we will ask that question for you. Thank you. From the architect. Naughty? Were they naughty?
That is not the plan on the website. That is not the current version of the
No,
plan.
that's the one that we've been sent as the latest plan. I believe that was a good point. Thank you. Yes, madam. Just excuse me.
Has the council actually identified what advantages will be to justify the cost and the upheaval?
Yes, well, initially, when we went to the initial meeting, the advantages were shared space, based on, it was absolutely number one, but that was the top point, and as I say, it is a very liberal idea. I've posted some stuff up about what that actually is, and there's plenty on the website, but when we went to the meeting, that was what was put forward as the main thing. It was all about the concept of shared space and making the green a more interactive environment for people, and so that we get more people on the green. And it was to do with the village plan and what came out of that as far as people's concerns and what people wanted as improvements. So it was all based around all of those things, as far as I'm aware. I know, but that's my understanding of where it's all come from. So you've been waiting a while.
I've just a suggestion. If you want to get anything out of transport to London, then you have to make a freedom of information request, because they will just not tell you anything.
Thank you very much. That's something for us to bear in mind when we go forwards with this. Madam down there.
I've worked in Northern about 20 years. I went to the parish meeting and I was told that all the trades on green were contacted and advised of when it first started. And I can actually say that I worked there and I knew nothing about it until it came to CR6.
Hi, yeah, I'm Ian from Dales on the Green. I can say that we weren't contacted regarding this, and when I went to the meeting, the AGM in May, and I requested that the parish council consult the traders because we weren't happy with what was going on. They said they would. I went to a meeting then in July and asked the same question, can you please consult the traders? They said yes we will, and we haven't heard anything to date. The majority of the traders aren't in favour of the proposal, and we're waiting to hear from the parish council. Thank you.
Finally, I sit, most people probably know I work in that west. Right, I'm not doing half that west, I'm doing the guy in the right, I sit there, I watch the lorries that the Sainsbury's going round. To get round the bend where that west, you have to go across the other side of the road by the motor, the garage. To get round. You can explain to me how, and I did ask the man at the council meeting at the time, how they were going to get these lorries round and round the pouch. He just told me that it's quite simple, we're going to have a study. So I've seen these men in their jackets standing outside the bank with their things. Can you explain to me how, or could you ask the council how their study works? Can you explain to me, probably everybody else, how the hell you're going to get an articulated lorry round and round and round a road that isn't big enough?
Yeah, good point. I think that's part of what we all saw. As soon as this plan came up, we could all envisage the things that happen day to day on the green, and that's why we're very opposed to it. In terms of asking the parish council, I think we have to do it in an incredibly structured way. We have to be able to do that, because when you ask questions at that parish council meeting, it's very, very unsatisfactory, the answers that you get, and they change week to week or month to month, so it's quite difficult.
Can I say there are 11 parish councils, 5 councils, all of our telephone numbers are advertised.
With respect, I don't feel that people, with respect, that council meeting in the first 15 minutes is designed specifically for local residents or interested parties to go along and ask those questions, and still speaking, and it was taken up, probably the first 4 minutes was taken up with sorting out everyone's tea and coffee when we were there. It was, and it was inappropriate to say the least. But what we want is some answers. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's probably enough on that. That's what we're all about, is to try and make sure that we get constructive answers from people. Yes, sir, I'm so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you are leaving, could you try and do it quietly so that we can carry on, please?
I can see problems coming up with heavy goods vehicles coming in different directions, and the road not being wide enough, they would cause gridlock. Same with the Westall road at night time, especially some of these mad idiots on the road are paying thumping down the road on the two-way side, suddenly realise they've got to turn right down the road towards
Yes, indeed. I think we all share your concerns, although we're not all as experienced in what you are. But yes, thank you for that. Thanks. Okay, and that is also, they do have their own website, and you can look on that, and they do have I think there's a website for, or an email address for each parish councillor actually on that. It's quite easy to find. If you just look up the Warlingham Parish Council, you'll be able to find it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's a valid question, but I probably think that's complicating the issue at this moment in time, because I think we'll probably try and just park that one for a moment. Okay, I'd like to make this the last question, please, before we wrap up.
Just quickly, I've lived in and around Warlingham for the last 45 years. Has anybody thought about the impact of the small quantities on either side of the creek and the plummet of the price of local residents? Why would you want to sit there watching telly at 10 o'clock at night and a lorry come Green Park and go to Sainsbury's, go to Co-op? I mean, they all open until 11 o'clock at night. Tesco and Sainsbury's is open until 10 o'clock. Up to Christmas, they are delivering until 1 a.m, I believe.
Right. Again, another good point. I'm presuming that the traffic assessments will come up with those.
I asked Jeremy Pursehouse about that. It's all to alleviate the traffic to go to the Co-op at Hampton Green, down to Milton Road. All they've got to do is reduce the grading round the National Paper, like the lady says over there, so they can go round and down the other side. They don't need extra drive parking. You still have to
I think we've got some forms, sir, and if you could put that down on your form, then we can collate all that, and that's really great help to us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to wrap this up now and say thank you very, very much for coming out this evening. And thank you. Thank you very much, and it's only together that we're going to be able to get this stopped and we can all concentrate on the positive. So keep together, okay?